What's
happening,
up,
everybody?
Fight companion. I don't know. We don't have a name for you guys yet, but it's Cowboy versus Conor. The big kahuna, biggest fight of 2020 so far. Not saying a lot, but still a huge fight. Guys, finally breakdown videos are coming out. Finally, we're starting to see some training footage from both Conor and Cowboy. Now, we're going to show you, based on the footage that we've seen,
The road that Conor McGregor has for victory against Cowboy Cerrone.
And what's really interesting is there's actually a fork in this road. There's two different strategies that Conor can institute to beat Cerrone. We've called these the Darren Till strategy and the Nate Diaz strategy. Now, the first strategy is the Darren Till strategy. This is more vintage Conor McGregor that you guys are all used to seeing. It's the more bladed, longer stance where the right leg and the right hand are going out here. Now, the difference between the Darren Till and the Diaz strategy, it's all in the lead hand and the lead leg. So in Darren Till, the lead leg is much further out and the right hand is hand fighting with Cowboy. Think about how Conor fought Eddie Alvarez, whose game plan was to institute leg kicks. Cowboy
has great leg kicks, and this is the only disadvantage to the Darren Till strategy is boom, those leg kicks.
Very
right?
vulnerable to those leg kicks. So if Conor comes out vintage McGregor, what he needs to do is really start hand fighting. Keep this hand fight going to distract Cowboy from the game plan of leg kicking. This is exactly what got Eddie Alvarez off of his leg kicking game plan prior to his concussion, which then further got him off of his leg kicking game plan. So this is especially good for Cowboy because Cowboy has a tick where he likes to constantly paw with his jab, not throwing it, not even getting close to throwing it or feinting it, just staying loose. Just staying loose with it.
It's almost like just getting the lactic acid built up over like years of fighting.
It's not even a jab, it's more of a shake.
Yeah.
So Cowboy likes to shake his front hand, which makes him super susceptible to the hand fighting. Because fighters, when they have specific ticks, if you interrupt those ticks, they get flustered, they can't fight unconsciously anymore. They have to be very cognizant, and his attention goes to his upper body. He's no longer thinking about leg kicking. He's no longer thinking about maintaining distance. He's distracted from even just the lead left hand.
And if you guys disagree with that, look at the Eddie Alvarez footage, because that tick that was done completely threw off Eddie from before that point, a very successful game plan that he was having against Conor McGregor.
And it was to the point where Eddie was literally completely compromising his defense to slap Conor's right hand. Not even more than that, man. He was lifting it up and bringing it down like this just to try to get it away because it's so annoying. But that's the Till game plan. Aside from that, it's vintage McGregor. Fluster Cowboy, keep coming forward, hand fighting to distract him from his game plan. Get inside.
And let's be honest, this is what Cowboy and his coach are going to be strategizing for, right? Because that is, he only has a left hand.
Which is what they exactly said. The problem, and this is where the Nate Diaz strategy comes in, is that Conor's been showing a much different look in his recent training footage. And make sure you guys subscribe and shut your notifications on, because we're going to break down in depth what this new training footage means and what it means for how Cowboy Cerrone is going to get knocked out. So subscribe and turn those notifications on. We're going to go over the very basics here, but we're going to go super detailed, and you want to see it.
So this is the Diaz strategy.
In the Diaz strategy, again, remember, it's the lead hand and the lead leg that are different. The first major difference, classic McGregor, right? The front leg comes back into a much more narrow, more similar to traditional boxing stance, but even slightly more narrow than traditional boxing stance. The right hand, which was hand fighting in the Till strategy, comes in tight. Now, this is where it gets incredibly interesting. Because the lead leg is withdrawn, Cowboy can still leg kick. It's slightly less vulnerable. Conor's both more able to check, and he's also in much closer proximity for punches when
he does.
Cowboy can kick his leg. If he's in the more bladed stance and Cowboy goes for a leg kick, he's got much more distance to travel. So, if Cowboy does come out trying to institute a leg kicking game plan, there is a super high likelihood that Conor's just able to, when he leg kicks, bam! Because he's also in Conor's punching range.
The only downside of this is that he's able to teep a lot more.
Because Conor is more square, Cowboy's able to bring out his beautiful, beautiful teeping game. The other issue is when Conor's more bladed, this is where we start to break down the lead hand. Conor's more bladed, his ability to throw hooks is much weaker. He can still throw them, but they're not going to come out with true fight-ending potential usually. Now, when he brings his lead leg back and does square up a little bit, suddenly he can really turn over with his right hip. When he's more bladed, you can see the motion is completely different.
It's a lot more shorter.
It's a lot shorter now. And this is where the right hand becomes a true hooking hand, which is a big problem when Cowboy Cerrone's coach said Conor only had a left.
Well, not only that, but Cowboy has this tick where he lowers down his guard from time to time.
He lowers his left hand specifically, so suddenly, boom!
Right.
True fight-ending potential, and we know Conor likes to make a statement. If someone said he had a left hand, what better way to answer it? But guys, there is more than that. There are specific combinations that take advantage of these proclivities of Cowboy Cerrone and more. Check out the video. We're going to break it down further with the new the new training footage, the new pad work video Conor released, and how it shows a completely different philosophy in their camp and how they're approaching this fight compared to Khabib.
And how he's going to be able to knock out Cowboy. So stay tuned
with
for all that.
the specific combination that he'll use to knock out Cowboy.